Hello everyone. Today I will tell you about the movie. In 2016, under the name Lady Macbeth, a young girl named Catherine is married to a man much older than her. Before going to bed, a maid named Anna takes care of the girl. Left alone, Catherine waits for her husband, who, upon entering the room, immediately makes it clear that the girl will stay at home all the time and not go anywhere after Alexander's demand to take off her shirt. China heats up after why does a man turn off the light and go to bed in the morning? Sitting on the windowsill, a girl looks out the window, so the first day of her new life flies by a day later the next morning. She comes to the room to open the shutters on the windows. Catherine is very sad from such a gray and boring life, and from the girl's entertainment only a window with a view of nature and a fireplace, looking at which Katoman constantly falls asleep. From this lifestyle, the girl quickly gets tired without waiting for dinner to end. Catherine goes to her room, which she does not like Boris, Alexander's father, which he expresses to Catherine, demanding that the girls do not fall asleep, wait for her husband in the bedroom, followed by Catherine, who Boris orders to follow up on his request later. For a while, a drunk Alexander appears in the room, demanding that Catherine take off the handle by sitting next to the fireplace, facing the wall as her husband demands. Catherine hears the sound of trousers stretching behind her back. After that, Alexander begins to do manual labor. In the morning, Catherine asks Boris where her husband went. According to the old man, an explosion occurred in one of the mines belonging to the family, and Alexander went tomorrow. Boris also goes to London on business, so the girl will have to spend some time alone at the estate. As soon as the old man leaves the house, Catherine immediately goes outside for the first time in a long time, breathing in fresh air. In the morning, she and another maid leave the house, and Catherine, as usual, falls asleep in front of the fireplace, but wakes up from screams outside. After leaving the house, the girl hears voices in one of the buildings. After entering, Catherine discovers the company's employees, and, wrapped in a sheet, she is hanging in the middle of the room. Sebastian points to she says that they are weighing the pigs, and Catherine orders the girl to be released, after which she informs them that since they have spent Alexander's time and money on this entertainment, that girl will now be behind them. After returning home, Catherine learns the name of a cheeky employee who only recently came to them in the morning. Going for a walk, meeting Sebastian again, Catherine ignores his words that she is at home on the other side, smiling coquettishly. As night falls, the girl hears a knock on the door. Reopening it, Catherine discovers Sebastian, who says he is dying of boredom. The girl tries to close the door, but the guy enters her room, cornering Catherine. Sebastian tries to kiss her, but the girl pushes her away. The guy, after which she pounces on him with kisses, yearning for male flesh. This is the first morning in this house when the girl woke up happy. From that day on, they constantly meet stealthily with Sebastian, satisfying their needs by picking mushrooms in the early morning. She meets Sebastian walking dogs. The girl hints that his secret meetings with the hostess may end badly, but in response she receives only threats. At nightfall, Catherine comes back to Sebastian. The maid opens the keyhole in the morning. Catherine enters the room. Opening the doors, she announces that Lester Sr. has returned from a trip to London, and at dinner, Boris is instructed to bring him champagne, which Catherine drank in the absence of men without revealing her mistress. The maid is humiliated by Lester Sr., who forces the girl to get down on all fours like animals. Upon learning about Catherine's betrayal, Boris goes to the barn where he beats Sebastian and then orders him to lock up. Upon learning about this, Catherine demands from the old man to let the employee out, for which she gets a slap from Lester. Their next quarrel ends with Boris leaving his room and Catherine propping up the door with a chair. After that, the girl asks Anna to sit down nearby, since he does not like to dine alone. Boris begins to question the maid and her family at the door and starts knocking, informing them that he is unwell. But Catherine orders them not to sit and open the door. As soon as the screams and knocks subside, Catherine sends the maid to get a doctor, and she runs to the barn where Sebastian is locked. The doctor who has arrived can only confirm the death. After a while, Catherine receives a letter from Alexander, who cannot come to his father's funeral. The girl is sure that Alexander hated his father, and that's the whole reason for burying my father. After the senior lecturer, Catherine almost openly begins dating a guy, and the maids discuss the death of the master, for which she blames herself. Since that day Boris ate mushrooms that the girl was picking because of what she was speechless to tell Catherine about it. Sebastian assuring her that the maid would not be able to tell the master anything because of her illness. The girl confesses her love to the guy, saying that as long as she is alive, she will never part with him, and will follow him anywhere, even to the next world. One night, and Catherine wakes up from a nose looking out the window. The girl notices from below Alexander's horse waking up Sebastian. Catherine sends him to the back room, and she begins to wait for her husband, informing him that she woke up from the sounds of a horse. Looking at Catherine, Alexander notices that she has noticeably rounded up, not what she was before his departure. The girl goes for tea, after drinking which Alexander admits that rumors of the girl's infidelities have reached him, for which he threatens to throw Sebastian out since Alexander knows everything. Catherine goes to the back room for the guy she puts down to cover. Taking off his pants, Catherine climbs on top of Sebastian in front of Alexander. The enraged Lester beats the girl, then starts fighting with Sebastian, but Catherine grabs the lacing and kills her husband, whose lifeless body Sebastian buries in his face to hide the traces of Alexander's return. Catherine takes her husband's horse to the forest where she kills the animal. Since then, Sebastian suffers from insomnia, but Catherine claims that Alexander himself wanted to kill the guy, but they beat him to it. Now they have the right to live a happy life, a life that a few days later is disrupted by a woman named Agnes, who brings a boy to Catherine's house by the name of Teddy, informing him that he is the son and heir of Lester Jr., which Catherine can't believe. But you have official documents proving this. Sebastian believes that the woman is lying about. Since Alexander could only get pregnant with his hand with the presence of a boy in the house, Sebastian refuses to meet with Catherine. If they are spotted, the guy will have to leave, so while he is here, Catherine will have to forget about meetings. Watching the boy and the maid play in the morning, Catherine notices Sebastian walking in a sleigh. The girl runs out into the street, where she begins to be molested, which Catherine pushes away, which is why the boy runs away in tears. Without calling out to Sebastian, Catherine returns to her room, where later the maid comes saying that they cannot find, etc. They all go to look for the boy. Sebastian finds him at the waterfall, looking at the boy and the stormy river. A sinister plan matures in the guy's head, but his conscience still prevails. Sebastian brings Tegs to where the diagnosis begins to scold him for asking the guy to bring the boy a blanket because he was very blown away, not wanting to suffer humiliation. Sebastian is going to leave the estate, telling Catherine about the perfect opportunity to saw off the Lester heir, which he did not take advantage of. But Catherine asks him to wait by entering the room where Agnes is on duty by the bed. Catherine persuades the woman to sleep. She will look after the boy at this time. When Agnes leaves, Catherine lets Sebastian into the room through the window, with whom they get rid of the little heir by sitting next to Catherine. Waits for dawn until she appears in the room, at the same time feeling Sebastian's wine and sobbing over Alexander Lester's great after, which she rushes at the manor where Catherine deceived you and the doctor, who fell asleep, and when she woke up, he was already dead, pointing to the boy's fresh bruises. The doctor asks Catherine if someone could have entered the room while the girl was sleeping. At this moment, Sebastian avoids Sebastian, who confesses to the crime, betraying Catherine and telling the doctor and detective about Alexander's murders and Boris Lesterov, whom Catherine poisoned with mushrooms. The girl denies, saying that she always picked mushrooms and Sebastian went to the forest with the maid every morning. It is possible that she poisoned Alistair Sr. because one before that, the old man severely beat Sebastian and locked him in the solarium. Man, she can refute if this is not the case, but after the death of Boris Lester, the maid was speechless and could not confirm or deny anything, which is why she sent Sebastian to hard labor, after which I and the rest of the servants leave the estate, leaving a pregnant Catherine in the house. But that's where the movie ends.